Good afternoon. I'm Fidelis Snugger II. This is the Alkalign Lifestyle School, and today I will be your guide. And we are talking about sexual energy in terms of the frustration of the lack of intimacy and how this correlates with your central nervous system and your enteric nervous system, and how this relates to masculine and feminine. It goes all the way back to masculine and feminine, but again, the primary focus is sexual frustration, a lack of intimacy, because this problem, lack of intimacy, causes a whole lot of issues in relationship, partnership, and just in life in general for people. A lack of intimacy is I'm not gonna say it's a unrealized problem, because people know they have a problem. They just don't know why they have the problem. So here I'm going to tell you today as to why you're never going to achieve harmony if you don't get over this lack of intimacy issue and challenge in your relationship. So for starters, first of all, the frustration, sexual energy frustration of a lack of intimacy. What is this going to cause? What is this actual cause? Say you're an entrepreneur and you have a lack of intimacy with your partner. You've been married for 5 years or so, right? But you've been knowing your partner for 10 years or whatever. You have a long, day at the job. You're an entrepreneur, you've been, on the phones, selling, doing all types of things, right? Getting up early, staying late. You come back home, man or woman now. You come back home and all you want to do is unwind and pour into your partner so that they can receive you in some way, shape, or form. Not necessarily physically, but just in terms of intimacy. Intimacy in terms of vulnerability, in terms of transparency, and accountability. Those three things. I'll repeat them again. Transparency, vulnerability, and accountability. It's your day, you created it. When you come home, you just want to be able to have a connection with somebody. But this person that you're coming home to is not present with you. They can't hear you. They got something else going on. Their face is inside their cell phone. They got their phone walking around here doing this. They maybe you have 2 or 3 kids and the wife, she's dealing with the kids, or maybe you're a stay-at-home dad and you've been dealing with the kids all day. So you have something else that's going on. It's taking away your attention. And what's causing is it's causing a gap. It's causing a rift. It's causing a gap. So there's no intimacy. You go days and days and days and days without any intimacy. Physical intimacy, especially because in this day and age, most women aren't feeling it on the inside. So their excuse is, I don't have the energy. They're not lying to you when they say they don't have the energy, men. They don't have the energy. They really don't, because of what they've been doing in terms of lifestyle, in terms of stress and mishandling that. Also, men, you don't actually have the energy either to sustain more than 2 minutes long, because for your lifestyle and what you've been doing to yourself. So all of a sudden it's creating a gap and a rift, and it's causing a frustration, a sexual frustration due to a lack of intimacy. So let me make sure I put this so you understand what this really is. It's sexual frustration. This is gonna be sexual desire, and this is gonna be sexual fears. So we established that frustration, as an entrepreneur, you come back, you're just tired, you're just exhausted because you've been going through this whole process. All you want to do is be able to exchange your energy with your person that you've chosen. But now you're acting like roommates, walking around through your household. So what is this lack of intimacy causing? It's causing you to be separate. So now instead of you seeing this person as an equal in a relationship, you're looking at this person like, they're not as important as me. So what they want and their needs aren't as important as mine. So you don't surrender to those needs and give the person what they need. Okay, that's as an entrepreneur. Say you're an athlete. Okay, you've been traveling all your season is in, like, the NBA season just started right now. So professional basketball, you're traveling days and days and days. You're flying on planes. You're back. You're basically with your teammates more than you are with your actual person. Again, you're never going to establish a harmonious relationship with your spouse or with your girlfriend or boyfriend, because you're traveling so much. When you come back to actually connect with this person, you don't even know who they are. You're from October to June or almost July, summertime. You're focusing in sports. Your focus is on your team. It's focused on a team goal, on a team task. You never have time for intimacy. That's as an athlete. Say you're a C-level executive, big time. You got a big time corporation. You're focused on, the growth of your business, serving the community, some type of way. You're just always focused on numbers and logistics, and it's just being seen, shaking hands, networking. When you finally come back to a person that you want to pour into to understand you, again, the rift and the gap that lack of intimacy has caused you is causing you to fail your own energy. Say you're a content creator or like a celebrity, a person that's well known, a YouTuber, a person that is, Twitch or whatever, you have your own channel and your own community. Again, people from the outside know you. People from the outside are connected to you. But there's nothing on the inside that you have an intimate connection with that you can actually pour into somebody, because you don't have that connection that's established between yourself and somebody else. There's the other level of sexual frustration. So now you're going to try to go figure out what you need to do, because you have got to desire something. You've got to desire intimacy. But this lack of intimacy, this is causing you sexual frustration. So what do? So in turn, you turn to substances. Literally, you go to substances. You go to coffees, you go to caffeines, you go to drugs, you go to cannabis, you go to or weed, you go to insomnia, where you don't sleep at night. You go to pornography, and you go to things that are attempting to get you a release that you need to have the release, but you don't have any connection with. You just need to move the energy. You need to move the sexual energy. And you also need to have that energy that's going to help you grow your field through your heart. But because you don't feel loved by yourself, you don't love yourself, this field that you have, this torus pattern that goes out and in from the heart rhythm, is never going to be grounded in the planet and expressed outwardly into the field of space because of this constant sexual frustration. So when I talk about sexual energy, I mean the energy of the orgasm, that was a term that was coined by Wilhelm Reich. And what Reich said was that the orgasm energy is not unlike oxygen, meaning it's around you at every moment in time, point in space. But the issue is that people have a suppression. They have a sexual suppression that's been caused literally by what they believed, by what they've taken in. And so they've shrunk their own energy field. They've caused themselves to be demagnetized, non-electrified, just because of what society has told them. And they've rebelled against being able to be free. They've gone the complete opposite direction. And I believe it's all due to sexual frustration and a lack of intimacy, because of what you've been told and directed and said, this is the right way to live, this is the right way to do this is the right way to behave, this is the right way to express yourself. But I'm telling you, it's all wrong. You don't need to have any chains, any prison cell that you put yourself into. It doesn't matter. Everything is the same thing. Everything is created by the one thing. Everything it comes from the mind of God. You see what I'm saying? So all you got to do is navigate your way towards which one fits your actual vibration, your actual frequency. Whichever one actually fits your frequency and fits whom you really are on the inside, that's the one that you're going to navigate to. So the lack of intimacy is literally just caused by not trusting yourself. It's caused by you not being able to say unapologetically who I am, how I want to be, and you're not answering the question of am I? Am I who I really want to be? Am I, a boss or a CEO or a content creator? And then when you say I am, the answer is yes, you are. You're the one that's setting the goal. You're the one that's setting the compass. You're setting your own destiny up because you're the God or the goddess. It's you. So that's number one. Step number one, we established the sexual frustration caused by lack of intimacy, what it does for people in general, athletes, entrepreneurs, C-level executives, content creators, even just employees of just a company. If you work at a hotel, If you're a janitor at a fast food restaurant, it doesn't matter. There's no difference in the level of what you're worth except for how you see your own value. That's pretty much it. You're still as important. The janitor in the crypto arena where the Lakers play is just as important as LeBron James, whether you believe it or not. You don't have to believe how I'm saying it. He may get $20 million or $40 million this season, but that does not mean that these people who keep the lights on for you to go in and go play are not more important than the people that actually go play. You have to look at it from that perspective. There's just a level of acceptance in terms of value, and that's what it is. And you can also see that's also an expression of sexual energy. So, number 2, sexual desire. What is sexual desire? Well, what I believe is sexual desire is just a deep emotional connection that a person is wanting. They're wanting a deep emotional connection with someone. You can't really have a deep emotional connection with something because that thing, in terms of like a rock or like a place or something like that. Because once you get to the place, and you can go there, but it can't really touch you in that type of way. Subtle energy it can, but you can't exchange your energy with it in the way that you can do with another person. So that's why a deep emotional connection, whenever you establish it with somebody, is so powerful for you to increase your energy field. But again, think about it. If you're an entrepreneur, right, and you're coming back and you want to establish a deep emotional connection with somebody that understands you, that can help you to get through those times when you lose the max contract, right, and you lose your biggest client, or are you going from this step in a program or servicing this way to now servicing this way, or you're offering a new thing, or you have to have a deep emotional connection so that you are able to pour into something, because you need to have times when you're high, when you're low, when you're high, when you're low. As long as you understand that you're aware of that, you can recover from the lows even faster. And the persons that recover from the lows even faster are the ones that are more successful. But you need to establish a deep emotional connection, and this is coming through sexual desire. Because you're desiring to express, you're desiring to expand, you're desiring to love. And again, as I talked about in my last video, when I said sexual potency, so I'll put these 2 words too, so I'll write these down. I like to remind you that sexual potency is the ability to engage in sexual intercourse, and then orgastic potency is the ability to surrender to the excitation of the sexual intercourse, meaning when the climax in sexual intercourse. So orgasmic potency is basically the orgasm effect. You can have this effect at any moment in time. Physically, mentally, spiritually, you should have this effect every moment. But you have to allow yourself to have this effect. And this is where you see the masculine and feminine. You can go positive and negative, feminine, masculine, conscious, subconscious, but this is how we're going to establish this, because both of these sides, both of these things are in a person. A person has both energies. A man and a woman both have masculine energy and feminine energy. And they have got to be harmonized. So, in this case of sexual desire, you're desiring a deep emotional connection. What does that mean? That means that you're desiring to have someone that you can just pour into, that you know that you can trust, that you know that you won't feel like you are abandoning whom you are in order to be loved by somebody else. You love yourself so much that the person that you are with and around also loves you the same way. They also love you the same way because they love themselves the same way. So the goal right now is to establish that you love yourself. It's to establish that you love yourself. It's also to establish that you love yourself, and then the person that you are entangled with loves themselves as well. They have to love themselves 100% in order to love you 100%. Because you must do unto others is you would have them do unto you, meaning you must treat people the same way that you want to be treated. That's how it works. So you have to be vulnerable. You have to be transparent. You have to be accountable. That's how it works in an intimate relationship. And this is why intimacy works. So if you so think about the word, okay? So when people talk about intimacy and they really, they want to understand what it means, right? They really want to understand how it works and how it's supposed to flow. But really what intimacy is just, it's familiarity, right? It's just you being comfortable with somebody else. It's like having like a close, intimate act with another one, like of a friend. So you can say it's an intimate act, like sexual intercourse, but you can say it's the person whom you're doing it with. That's what makes it an intimate thing. It's not like just gonna go find somebody to go fuck and just go have some sex with, because that's not how it works. When you have an intimate connection and an actual bond that's built, when you actually have a bond that's built with this person, you're able to transfer that actual feeling of I am not only am I entangled with you, I am you. It's like then we can create one, and then you can open up the whole portal of like bliss and pleasure, because now you're establishing pleasure that goes with this thing. But again, many, especially women in this day and age, associate sex with pain, but that's because they don't feel good. We're gonna get to that. Okay, so number one, you have sexual frustration, which is caused by lack of intimacy. It doesn't matter what you are, professional in any way, shape, or form, employee, it doesn't matter. Everyone has sexual frustration. You know why? Because everyone has sex, including, animals. They probably have as much frustration as people do because they can go out there to find whom they want, because they can magnetically attract whatever they want. They can go get something that they need. But people are way different. People settle for things that don't match, that aren't a match. They don't take chances. They don't take risks to go ask the girl on a date that they really, truly value. Women don't actually think that it's appropriate to ask many times because they've been taught that it's not appropriate to ask. But it doesn't make sense. If that's what you see and that's what you desire and that's right for you, go get it. That's how I look at it. If it's right for you and you know it's right for you, go get it. You ain't gotta wait. It doesn't have to be approved by society. Fuck society. It's not gonna do anything for you to keep on letting that guide your mind and guide your heart. You're supposed to guide your heart. Don't let somebody on the outside guide your heart. Don't let comments and negative things, affect your relationship. You don't need to. Most of those people are wishing that they had the relationship that you had in the first place. So don't be afraid to display affection because people are so negative on the outside. Don't worry about that type of stuff. And people are so worried and concerned about being liked by other people that they don't even like the person that they got at home. Fuck people. All of them. Don't worry about them. Except for the one that you pour your heart into. Because they don't know who you really are. They have no idea who you really are. They have no idea, they have no clue who the real you really is. But if you have an intimate connection with somebody, a deep emotional connection with somebody, okay, you're gonna desire them sexually. Meaning if you're a man or a woman, you'll have sexual potency. Men and women, you both have a libido. You both have a drive to be able to reproduce, both have a drive to be attracted to your person, you see? But you also both have to have orgasmic potency. But I'm telling you, in this way, if you don't surrender to your actual act, to the actual intercourse, to the actual physical or mental stimulation that you get from sexual energy exchanging between yourself and another being, if you never do that, you're never gonna achieve harmony. You can't. It's impossible because this is coming at you all the time. This is here all the time. So everyone has free energy available to them. But if you have a block, a subconscious block of some kind of block because of a belief that was installed into your hardware, if you have that block, you have to realize that those blocks are what are causing you to cause a rift, and it's going to cause a blockage in the energy that's coming up and coming through you. So let's talk about your frustration, lack of intimacy, your desire for a deep emotional connection, and this is going to lead to the fears, the sexual fears. And what are the sexual fears? The main sexual fears are the fears of rejection. That's the fears. You can be married for 20 years and still have a fear of rejection. Married for 5, 10 years, still have a fear of rejection. You know, have a girlfriend, boyfriend that you've been with for, months, years, or whatever, still have a fear of rejection. But both on both sides, men and women. But what I've noticed is that a lot more it's been on the men's side towards the women, because the women are the ones that aren't really feeling great in this moment in time. And they're the ones that are causing chaos in the relationship because of the fact this is by design. Listen to what I'm saying. If you don't pay attention to what's going on, it's by design that you go out and you realize that women are the main consumers in the economy, because you're always looked at and you're always told that you're not there yet. You're always told that you're not good enough. You need this thing to be better. You need this purse, you need this bag, you need this shoes, you need this car, you need this house, you need to live here, you need to get this thing. No. You ain't told yourself enough times from the inside out that you are who you say you are. And this is where you have the enteric nervous system, aka your solar plexus, because this is where your autonomic nervous system actually is connected to. You have sympathetic, parasympathetic, which is your autonomic nervous system. Sympathetic, where you have your accelerator. That's gonna be like your fight or flight. Parasympathetic, which is gonna be like you hitting the brakes, okay? And so when you realize that this is how your system actually works, okay? It works in a way where both of these things cause you to say stress is gonna be taken care of, or it's gonna be pushed to the side. And you gotta look at it from that perspective where you say, okay, this is one of the things where the fight or flight response in people drives them to do bad things, or it drives them to have avoidance, or it drains their energy. So this is where the sexual fears are coming from. They're coming from the fear of rejection, which is being caused by the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight response. Somehow you've attached pain and stress to the subject of intimacy. And that's why you're not having it. That's why you can't allow your sexual energy to come into you and be expressed out of you. You've caused a suppression because you thought that this was right. But in no way, shape, or form is this right. In no way, shape, or form is you being a person that's stopping yourself from just having a great day, just having a great time, feeling like you have to work all the time. Yeah, I'm a man too. I thought I had to be working all the time. I got to be studying all the time. I got to be working all the time. I got to be doing something all the time, because if I'm not doing it, then I'm not a man. Yeah, you're taught that. You're taught that whenever you're young. You're taught that if you're not doing something, right, on a masculine side, if you're not working, if you're not taking care of something that you need to keep going, you need to keep pushing, you need to keep driving, it's like, listen, keep doing that and see how long you're gonna last. Keep on doing that and see how long you're gonna last. You're never gonna find harmony if you just overwork yourself to death. You're never going to achieve balance if you just focus on overworking yourself to death. When women do it, they turn into a masculine side. They completely release their feminine side and they just dissolve it. They don't even pay attention to it. And they focus solely on the masculine side. And what happens to them when they do this? They become imbalanced because their power comes from the feminine side. It doesn't mean that they don't need to be self-disciplined. They don't need to have a vision, but they need to also understand that they can achieve that vision in a faster pace. And the law of attraction, right? It's basically the law of vibration. They would vibrate so fast. They would vibrate so high and so fast if they stuck themselves in the feminine perspective and they use that power to their advantage. But when you have fears of any kind that are caused by a mismanagement of your stress, a mismanagement of your emotional body, of your emotional place. The mismanagement is causing you literally to have a sexual fear. So what people do is they don't realize just how powerful it is. You may have this subtle energy draw to this person, but because they may not fit the mold of what your parents like or what your friends like, you don't go for that person because you think that that person is going to be, maybe they're a square, or they're not confident enough for you, or they're not expressive enough for you, but they may be perfect for you. They may be perfect for you to help you bring it out, right? And you may be perfect for them to help them bring it out. But you would avoid that relationship at all costs because it doesn't look cool. It's not the cool thing, right? It ain't the sexy thing. It ain't the unique thing. It doesn't look good on paper, right? So if you took a photo, you'd be like, yeah, this just ain't for me, right? Like, I'm fit and like he's fat, or I'm fit and she's fat, but you may not know that that person wants to be fit just like you. So whatever you do, they're gonna do whatever you do. You're just attaching based upon energy. It's based upon like a subtle energy principle. So all of a sudden you find yourself in a connection, and now you can just race forward, shoot forward for just going to the stars. But when you have sexual fears, this is stopping you because why? You're afraid of being rejected. Some of the most celebrity, millions of followers, people have a fear of rejection. Some of them do. You just don't know that. Not everybody is an asshole compared to what people think. People just look at it from that perspective. People hate people who are successful. People hate people who are liked. But you don't know, those people who are liked by so many, they don't have a normal life. They can't walk down the street and go get, a sandwich or something at a cafe. They can't go shopping at Target and Walmart and things like that. Everybody's gonna flip out whenever they see them. There was this, I saw this clip. They were talking about Michael Jackson, and they're talking about how Mike basically had his friends like play character roles, and he would like buy out like a grocery store so he can go shopping because he never could just feel normal like a normal human being at times, and it's like, gosh, like just imagine being Michael Jackson walking down the street. Man, you have to have 1,000 bodyguards with you because people would just be flipping out going crazy. But that's just because that's how powerful his sexual energy was. He was expressive. Didn't mean he tried to fuck everybody. It just means he was unapologetically himself, until he became a person that was seen so much that he began not to love his own self. That's hard. That's hard. That's why he's changing everything up. That's why, you start to see Botox and plastic surgeries and things. You get that stuff because of a fear of rejection. So if you don't have a fear of rejection, if you had no fear of rejection at all, you wouldn't change anything. You would maybe go get fit, you'd go change a diet, but you wouldn't start cutting and pasting all types of things so that you can feel like you gotta fit in. You'd never do that. You'd never start to go to deconstruct yourself to build something that society would like. Because you don't care about what society likes. You care about what you like and what the God within you likes. That's what you care about. You see all the BBLs and the fake tits, and the fake hair. And it's like, gosh, you don't need to be fake at all. You just need to be yourself, what you were created with, and run with that and then see how that actually works out for you. Because you're going to be sad in the end. You're going to be sad in the end. It changes some people. Like if you have like an alteration or like something that, like a deformity that can be helped through plastic surgery, sure, I understand that. But for the most part, nobody needs that. No one needs that. They need acceptance for their own self. Acceptance for their own self. And yes, that's probably the hardest thing that most people have to go through, is the fear of rejection from themselves. Just imagine if you have a partner, if you have a spouse, don't matter how many years, 5, 10, it don't matter. And all of a sudden you just stop having sexual relationship with them. You stop having intercourse with them. You stop being intimate with them. You start having conversations, at nighttime, putting your phone up, establishing time for it's just you and them. You just stop doing that. Why would you stop doing that? Why? Because you're not attaching pleasure to it anymore. You're attaching pain to it because now you're like, gosh, I gotta get somebody to see me. They have to go inside me and see me. I have to be open so they can walk into my door of my heart. You see? So it starts to worry you. It starts to make you feel some type of way about it. You see? And so now, because you feel vulnerable, and you don't want to feel vulnerable, but you're always vulnerable. You may not have known that. You're always being watched. There's one only eye that's watching everyone around, including you. You're being watched by the one only eye. So what are you afraid of? Just do the right thing. You know the right person, do the right thing, you have no problem. You have no worries. But that's where people have a problem. They don't know that they're that person. They don't know that. So sexual fears turn into a fear of rejection from a person whom you've known your entire life or thought you knew your entire life, because now you don't know yourself. So these three things, sexual frustration, lack of intimacy, that's where it starts. Lack of intimacy. You didn't schedule it. You didn't say 7 p.m. Pericardium, the tissue surrounding my heart. This is where this organ's gonna light up at this time, from 7 to 9 p.m. You're supposed to have meditation, right? You're supposed to have self-reflection. You're supposed to have sex. You're supposed to have an intimate time and connection now with yourself and your partnership. But you failed yourself on that schedule. Now at 7 to 9, you're still making calls. You're still in the screen, right? You're still doing some more and more research. You're still thinking that you have to go overwork yourself because you don't love yourself enough. You don't love yourself enough. You're against the circadian rhythm. You're going against the natural order of how this is supposed to be. You're saying that consciously you know the answer when the creator knows the answer for you subconsciously. It tells you what the answer is. It tells you what the answer is. You have to be able to listen to subtle energy. If you're driving at nighttime and you're coming back from work, say you're on the 405 freeway and you're in traffic. Maybe there's an accident that's like 5 miles ahead. You don't know it yet. Your GPS hasn't updated it yet. You have an urge to take an exit. And you're like, I don't know why I'm gonna get off on Olympic Boulevard. I gotta get to Sunset. It's like 5 miles away. It's telling me to get off on Olympic. No, I'm staying. And all of a sudden you stay, you try to go close to the HOV lane, you're with somebody, you go in the HOV lane, and then all of a sudden it's like a dead stop for like another hour and a half. But if you follow that urge to exit off of Olympic Boulevard, you would have stopped, turned off, went to Beverly Glen or Century City, drove right up through, hit Sunset, you would have been at home, right? Just following the urge. Say you had an urge, you got to go to a shop to go, get something, okay? Whatever it is. Maybe it's a food, maybe it's an herb, a supplement or something, I don't know, but you have an urge to go to this place. You've never been there before, but it just says, why don't you just go here today, right? And you get up and you go, you meet somebody, you have a convo with them, start to communicate with them. Something that you were asking God for, you got through that person, you got the answer to that person. Just talked to my lady just now, she told me about an experience she had where she was just, she was hungry. She was like, okay, I just got up, I finished serving at my event. I was just like, I gotta get something to eat. And I'm gonna go somewhere. Something, I feel like I need something from my head, from my heart. So I go here. So she went to like a little chocolate shop, and spoke to a woman and she got an answer. And I was like, the energy just surrounded both of them. And then she's like, thank you for my interaction. But that was because of God, the one only I. The one only I was guiding her to tell her, go over here. And rather than have a fear of rejection, of knowing that she knows inherently what she's supposed to do, she accepted it. So that's where you start to look at sexual fears and you're like, okay, if you just let yourself have the feeling, if you let yourself have the great thing, let yourself have it, you don't have to fight against it all the time. And I'm telling you, people would rather fight against pleasure for their entire life because they don't think that they're deserving of it. But that's a subconscious program too. They probably got it from somebody else. I do not deserve. And one of the main things that they do not deserve is sexual intimacy. And that's probably because the person that taught them wasn't the person that was sexually intimate. Maybe it was mom or dad, sister, brother, mother, aunt, grandmother, someone. But whomever taught you, they experience more sexual fears. And that's also where you start to realize people who have these histories and these traumas, right? And they have these histories and these traumas because they were violated, when they were younger, or something happened to them. They were, touched, that they were, violated in a way that now it's developed this block. So you have like a floodgate. So when you start to think about chakras, right? 7 chakras. And you have 7 chakras. So you have these 7 chakras that are going up a person. So you could say, here's a low person, right? This is a low state person, And you have these 7 chakras just lighting up. 5, 6, and then 7. These chakras that are lighting up, right? And it goes all the way down to the ground. So that's why it's drawn like this, because it goes down to the ground, because this is the energy is flowing from all the way up. Well, your sexual organs are going to be at the root. It's going to be here. It's going to be at that root. It's going to be the first 3 energy consumers. So this is what drains everyone's energy. The first 3 centers, which is going to essentially be the root. So your root at the bottom, your sacral, and your solar plexus. These 3 energy centers are consumers. They consume your energy because you need to have energy in order to digest food. You need to have energy in order to process sexual energy. You use your mind to create a sexual desire. You should be able to cause an erection in you just by using your imagination. But most people can't do it. Most men can't do it. Most men can't do it. They can't stimulate themselves. So now we're going to get into how these things, your sexual frustration, your sexual desire, and your sexual fears are governed by your central nervous system and your enteric nervous system, and how you need to fix these 2 things in order to create some harmony. So first of all, we're gonna go first of all with the central nervous system. So central nervous system, this is going to be your brain and your spinal cord, okay, essentially. So when you hear about CSF, cerebral spinal fluid, that goes into your brain, surrounds and basically bathes your gray matter in spinal fluid and interstitial fluid. You need to have nothing but clear electrical energy and charge inside of this brain to light up what you call your kingdom of God. This is the kingdom of God. This is the crown that connects you to everything. The crown is above your head. The crown chakra is above. It's outside. It's the surrounding area. You see, the third eye is right here. Third eye, it connects everything, wraps everything around. You got that pineal gland, okay? You got the pituitary gland, thinking and feeling, feeling and thinking. Thinking and feeling, feeling and thinking. Magnetic, electric. You see, the land of milk and honey. That's it. That's the kingdom of God, pituitary body. But then you got the crown that's going outside, because once that energy goes from the base all the way down at the bottom, because your root is down at your ankles, at your knees, at your genitals. That's your root. It doesn't stop here. It continues to go all the way down. You're grounded all the way through. That channel of energy should be going from the ground all the way through you, out of you. Here's your torus pattern. It's creating this huge, humongous energy field because you have so much love in your heart. You see? But central nervous system, how does this relate to these 3 things? Sexual stimulation and satisfaction. They increase the activity of your brain, of your CNS, and your emotional states and your reward system. Let's talk about dopamines, you're talking about serotonin, you're talking about melatonin, but what you don't understand is that serotonin and melatonin, what wakes you up, what puts you to sleep at night, okay, but also helps you digest your food. Dopamine. So this is probably one of the most misunderstood concepts in terms of dopamine, because where's the largest, not to say largest, but to say there's a large base, a large majority of the dopamine, which is your pleasure and reward system inside your brain. Half of that, 50% of your dopamine is stored in your gut. Now, whose function is in the gut? This is your enteric nervous system. This is what's going to govern your melatonin, which is also 400 times more than your pineal gland, which is inside your brain. And then serotonin, 90% of serotonin is located inside your gut. Now, this is why I'm telling you, your gut is feminine. Your gut is a feminine perspective. It's a feminine principle because it controls feeling. It controls feeling, all right? This controls thinking. So your conscious mind, which is your masculine, the masculine principle within you. Again, men and women have both. The masculine principle, the CNS, this is your conscious mind. Your conscious mind, meaning this is your 5% mind. So your conscious mind is 5% optimized functioning, 5% optimized functioning. Your subconscious mind is 95% optimized functioning. Therefore, you don't understand that at every moment in time and point in space, you're only being controlled by 5% of your conscious mind. So you're not gonna go jump off of a cliff just because you feel like it. You wouldn't do something like, I'm gonna go jump off a cliff without a parachute just because I feel like it. No, because consciously, that would be stupid. You're not trying to take your own life. But say subconsciously, you taken some drugs, you took some kind of stimulant, some kind of things that were chemically causing you to be imbalanced. All of a sudden, jumping off of the cliff without a parachute becomes something subconsciously that may work for you. Now you can see why you look at suicides and depression, and all these things can be related to what you're putting inside of your gut. Your gut is increasingly powerful. So let's talk again. CNS in terms of stimulation. Not only is the dopamine effect, your pleasure and reward system inside your brain, right, being controlled by the masculine principle, but it's also telling you that your ability to engage in sexual intercourse, sexual potency, is a conscious thing. You have got to have the conscious ability to say, this person is a person whom I'm going to have sex with. I want to have intimacy with. And you're thinking that. So whatever you're thinking is going to create a feeling. Because thinking, you can look at thinking like it's a cause. So I'm thinking about sex, all right? I'm thinking about intimacy. I'm thinking about my emotional connection and my place and my sexual energy, allowing things to come into me. I'm thinking about it in terms of a pleasurable experience. I'm gonna go to do that. I'm gonna go seek to do that. And now my vitality goes up. Why? Why am I talking about sexual energy in the first place? Because that controls your vitality, your energy. And people aren't attaching sexual energy to vitality because of, you can call it a taboo principle, you can call it what social fears are just society is called. It doesn't matter about them anymore. Now I'm telling you right now that you don't have any energy because of a lack of accepting your own sexual energy. So if you don't connect these two things, if you don't connect sexual energy with vitality, you're never gonna have any energy. You're never gonna have a happy life. You're gonna fake it your entire life. Walk around here with a fake smile on your face the entire time, knowing on the inside you feel like crap. You feel like shit. And I'm telling you why you feel like shit. Let yourself have it. But now, central nervous system. Masculine is your conscious mind 5%, sexual potency, your ability to have sexual intercourse, and what you're thinking. Move on to the enteric nervous system, which is also attached to your ANS, autonomic nervous system. Sympathetic, fight or flight response. Parasympathetic, this is where you're relaxed and in repair. See? Enteric nervous system, your gut. It's a feminine perspective. It's a subconscious mind, which controls 95% of what you do. 95% of where you go. 95% of your habit base, what you do every single day. What you're thinking about is also going to be in a wheel. It's a wheel. It's a wheel, like a hamster wheel. This affects this, and this affects that. So you have an arrow going here, thinking and feeling, feeling and thinking. Your orgasmic potency, your ability to surrender to the excitation of the orgasmic experience of sexual intercourse. That's your orgasmic potency. Can you surrender to the natural feeling and appreciation of love? Can you? Can you do it? Can you actually surrender to the feeling? Can you actually surrender to it? If you can't surrender to it, then you're never, again, going to have harmony in any way, shape, or form, because it's founded upon the healthy character, attitude of an individual's capacity for love. You'll cause yourself a psychic illness. You'll cause yourself a psychic disturbance, which is just basically what they call mental health. So if you can look at it from that perspective, the result of a disturbance of the natural ability to love is what's caused by your inability to surrender and experience the climax of excitation in a natural sexual act. That's the climax. Where you just let yourself be yourself. That's the climax. That's the highest rate of vibration that you're ever going to have in your life. Unapologetically whom you are. But that's where you get it from your enteric nervous system. What are you putting inside of your gut? Because you understand what gut feelings are. That's your gut feeling. So if you're not feeling good, you're not going to be thinking good. If you're not thinking good, you're not going to be feeling good. And there's your connection between thinking and feeling. So you can think your way to a bad diet. You can think your way to go to be an alcoholic. You can think your way to drug use. You can think your way to these things, all because you're ignoring the simple lack of intimacy. Here's your answer. You want an answer for mental health? You want an answer for psychic health? Because that's what they call it over a century ago, psychic health. Because everyone's psychic. Every human being has superpowers. We're all superhuman. You just aren't told you're superhuman. You're told that you're regular. You're told that you're normal. You're told that you don't have any ability to go above and beyond, to transcend, to ascend. You're told that you don't have that capacity to be bigger, to be a god or be a goddess. But you were born as a god or a goddess. You were born with nothing. You didn't come in here with a hoodie on. You didn't come in here with a suit and tie on. What you so concerned about? Who got you dressing like that? Who got you talking like that? Who got you walking like that? Society. Society got you doing all of that. And you never thought of it as, how does society know who you really are? They don't. They ain't got a damn clue who you really are. You're supposed to know who you really are. And be unapologetically that person at every moment in time and point in space. So, again, sexuality and anxiety. What you see people walking around here and they're wired. But there's two ends of the same spectrum. You have sexuality, you have anxiety. Two ends of the same spectrum. And why? Because again, I just told y'all, enteric nervous system, your gut, solar plexus, the ANS, sympathetic, fight or flight, parasympathetic, relax and repair. That is it. There's your anxiety. There's your anxiety. And then when you're not in anxiety, automatically you're going to be in a pleasurable response of sexuality. You're embracing your sexuality. Too many people don't understand the concept of masculine and feminine. At both times, your CNS is connected to your peripheral nervous system, but it mainly is connected to this, which is your gut brain. You got two main brains. You have one up top and you got one right here in the solar plexus. Because you know why? You had an umbilical cord that was like a USB cord that connected to your mother in the womb. So you were downloading information for 9 months. The information that you downloaded set yourself up subconsciously to program you into your existence. It gave you a template for how you navigate yourself in this world. So if you had a mom that was sexually suppressed, I don't care if you're man or woman, you're gonna be sexually suppressed too. That's just how it works. I had a mother who was sexually suppressed in many ways. I had to learn how to be expressive. I had to go to the, Books a Million back, what it was called. Not only Barnes & Nobles, but this way back when. And to the library to go read books on Kama Sutras and just read books and start to learn about the importance of sexual energy. I had to go learn it for myself because she couldn't teach it to me. And I understood that my father stepped out and he created his own family. But he did it probably because he wasn't getting any intimacy, sexual frustration. You wanna know what causes somebody to step out and go find somebody else? He ain't taking care of home. That's home. Intimacy. I need to be treated. I need to be, shown affection. I need to be intimate and have a deep emotional connection with my partnership. Not walking around my house like I'm a roommate. I'm not your roommate. I'm not your brother or sister. I'm your partner. I'm your opposite. We're supposed to create something brand new. See what I'm saying? People don't look at it from that perspective. So no, just because you don't feel good, that's not the man's fault or woman's fault that you don't feel good. It's your fault if you're a man and you're an alcoholic and you smoking and you drinking and you're not taking care of your stress properly. And it's their fault if they are eating bad food, eating dairy and having irritable bowel syndrome and their stomach hurts all the time. It's their fault. You have to fix it. You know why? Because there's your vulnerability, there's your accountability, okay, and there's your transparency. You don't have just those three things. Just those three things. Like I helped my lady cleanse, I had to, because if I wanted to keep my relationship with this person, I wanted her to understand what a wife is supposed to do. She, first of all, didn't understand that because she didn't download the program from her mother. She didn't download the program from anyone in her family. They couldn't give it to her. They didn't know. But because I took it upon myself to go learn the program, I decided, look, I love you with no conditions. Just take this program. Just take this program that I'm giving to you because you need to know this. You need to have this. This is the wisdom that you already have innately inside of you, but you haven't brought it out yet. See what I'm saying? Now, too many people in a relationship aren't doing what they're supposed to do for the other person to be the best version of themselves. And that's where you're starting to see struggles and problems. And I believe that's an issue. And it's a bad thing on both sides, on both ends of the spectrum. If you understand that this entire answer is that you're tired because you've been clutching yourself and shrinking your energy field for days, months, years, you should not be counting on your hands how many times you've had intimate time with your partnership. So you look at it from, there was a study done, and this is a long time ago. And so this is what they talk about in terms of how often should a couple have sex. This was August 31st, 2012. This study came out. It said, for example, 18 to 29-year-olds have sex an average of 112 times per year. 30 to 39-year-olds, an average of 86 times per year, which is like a significant drop off just from, And so what I'm learning is that, you can keep it going. 40 to 49-year-olds have sex an average of 69 times a year. So 112 times per year, 18 to 29-year-olds. 86 times a year, 30 to 39-year-olds. And 69 times a year, 40 to 49-year-olds. And it doesn't even go past that. They didn't even do this was 12 years ago, this was the study. And think about that. Think about just how small that is. But let me tell you, as it goes up in age, it goes down in performance. But that's also because someone's lifestyle takes over. Someone's bad lifestyle takes over. And if you look at yourself and you say, are you taking care of your sexual potency? The answer for most Americans, especially, eating the standard American diet, the SAD diet, is no. Because if you're eating the standard American diet, you don't have sexual potency. You don't have the ability to engage in sexual intercourse. It's impossible because you're stopping the flow. And the flow is a natural flow of orgasmic energy, sexual energy. So to the degree of of how a person can surrender and experience the climax and excitation in the natural sexual act of intercourse, they don't have that ability to surrender because they can't even get started in the first place. There's your erectile dysfunction. You should not, listen, you're not really a man if you have to outsource your erection. If you have to outsource your erection to a pill or pop a gummy in order to sustain a flow, to increase the neural activity that's supposed to be inside your brain naturally, you're not really a man at all. You're just a slave. It's essentially what you are. Or you can call yourself a weak man because there's no power within you. You've never placed yourself from being a god to being a peasant. Same thing with a woman. If you can't control or enhance your libido solely because you decide to kill your flow because of what you've been put inside your gut, so your coffee, your caffeine, your candy, your processed sugar, too much bread, you and your burgers and french fries, you and your chips, you and your seed oils, sunflower oils and canola oils and trash food like that. Your fake plant-based food, which is like your Beyond Meat and your Impossible Meat, all your synthetic estrogens, synthetic testosterones, many who are taking testosterone supplements and things like that. Your brain creates all those things. Your mind creates it, and your gut creates it. It's created inside your gut. The majority of all these things create inside your gut and inside your brain. If you don't have the natural ability to process these things and create them for yourself, what makes you think that you're anywhere close to a god or to a goddess? You're nothing, except what society tells you that you are, because you surrendered yourself to it. You rather not be able to experience pleasure in any way, shape, or form. You only want to sit here and say, I'm here for them. No, you're not. You're not here for them. You're just making an excuse. You know how people say, I brought this up some time ago, but you know how men and women both, especially women, they'll say, I don't have to have kids because, I'm in a company or I'm in a business and these are my kids, right? And, it's by choice. It's like, no, you just don't feel good on the inside. If you felt the love that you're supposed to feel from a natural order, from a natural flow, from a natural harmony, I don't know, you want to have 3, 4, 5 of them right there yourself. But you don't feel good on the inside. So because you don't feel good on the inside, you don't feel capable of even having them in the first place. You don't even feel like you qualify for them. It's like you can even create them. That's an issue. No, you're just making an excuse or an outlet. Oh no, it's not, I don't have to have that because, and I don't have to do that because, no, nobody will hear that shit. That's a lie. 100% that's a lie. You were brought here with the ability to do that, and you don't want to take the ability to do that. It's because you've already ruined it. Can you fix it? Of course you can. 100% you can fix it. 100% you can fix it. 100% you can clear yourself out. But starting from Let's retract. Sexual frustration is the cause of the lack of intimacy, goes down to sexual desire, lose a deep emotional connection, and then you have the sexual fears are now exposed because of your fear of rejection. This is what sexual frustration actually is. It's the breakdown of these three things: lack of intimacy, deep emotional connection, lack of a deep emotional connection, and fear of sexual rejection. Fear of sexual rejection. You got spouses that are like friend zoned. You have friend zoned spouses now. Spouses that can't even get out of the friend zone, which is ridiculous. What kind of shit is that? I didn't sign up for that. I signed up to be intimate with the person that I said I love unconditionally. I didn't sign up for that. I'm just telling you, like, you can say whatever you want, but I'm just telling you, that's not what people sign up for. You signed up to be with somebody for the rest of your life, then you sit there and say, okay, I'm going to focus on the sexual act with just you, and you don't want to do it with me. You have to have harmonious chemical conditions, and that means proper food and adequate water that are present inside your body to maintain sexual harmony. You've got to have the right things going into the enteric nervous system. You've got to have the right chemical combinations in order to release the feminine energy and enhance your subconscious mind and reprogram yourself to receive pleasure and have orgasmic potency. Have the ability to surrender to the experience of excitation and the climax of the sexual act. You gotta have that, because those are your gut feelings. So too many of you women and men, both of you, but the majority again, women, because y'all are the one that are targeted for all these people out here putting ads out. They're targeting you. You've got to be smarter than that. You've got to be more aware than that. Stop being so damn shallow. In all seriousness, raise your level of awareness and conscious awareness. Because if you don't do that, you'll lose more than just your relationship with your partner. You'll lose more than just that. You'll lose the relationship with yourself. And once you lose that, then you're stuck. You're going to be stuck in misery, constant misery. So, if you are in need of increasing your flow, if you're in need of increasing that energy to be able to pass through you, I have three herbal formulas. Awaken, which cleanses the lymphatic and glymphatic systems. Replenish, which cleanses the lymphatic and glymphatic systems overnight, and also has transition metals that electrify your brain. And then I have Ascension. And Ascension is both of those two in combination, everything that's included with those two. But you also have 6 dream level herbs. I'm talking about ayahuascas and things like that. But this is going to be, for example, Egyptian blue lotus. Things that can get you to have lucid dreams. Things that can get you to have a release in your emotional place from a healthy perspective. Because once you clear this gut out, once you heal this liver, once you heal your kidneys, once you heal your heart, right? You're only going to be able to connect to the divine after you become alkaline. You have to alkalize your body to connect to the divine. You can't connect to the divine in an acidic state. It can show you some signs, but you're never going to actually get what the divine is trying to tell you if you never get yourself to an alkalized state in your blood. And I'm talking about purification at its finest. You gotta stop lying to yourself. You have to live with honesty. You have to live with transparency, vulnerability, and accountability. Once you understand that, you're home free. So again, I offer 3 herbal formulas. Check the link in my description below. You can also sign up for my Become More Alkaline Challenge, which is guaranteed to increase your sexual energy because you understand why you need to do it and how you need to do it. And starting next week, I'm going to be offering a course that's going to be $297, and the goal of the course is to clear out all 7 of your chakras, all 9 energy centers, reconnect you back to the earth, and also reconnect you back to yourself. So I have multiple options. Whichever one you want to take, go for it. And until next time,